So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Black Lives Matter podcast. My name is Pierre Young, and my guest for today, well, again, is Nishanth Peters, or let's call him Nishi for short. Um, here to interview him about the recent events, the tragedy events that's happening in the world right now. It's really crazy. So, first question I'm gonna ask Nishi, how you feeling? Like, are you doing okay? Or are you feeling neutral? Or
I have been up and down and just so I've been so enmeshed in what's going on that it's driving me crazy. I've had to take steps to protect my own mental health. Because uh, I mean, I decided to come into my theater company today to do some fundraising work, administrative stuff,
oh,
and
nice.
if I hadn't done that, I would have been just I would have been just a wreck. You know, because these past week and a half is just accentuating everything that's already, it's bad enough that we had the COVID, bad enough that this and that was going on, the third, and then all of a sudden this happens and Minneapolis becomes a war zone. And then Trump threatens to send the military, and he sends in the military just to get a picture of a church, and this death and everything is just spinning out of control so fast. So it's been hard, but I'm hanging in there.
Uh, yeah, I am too. I feel on that one. It's just teaching remotely, and then I got to promote my services online, and it's difficult. I really wish I was back in Metro State University in person because it was so much more fun to promote, and it was a lot of fun, and got to know a lot of people. Um, yeah, it's just so crazy. I can't believe Trump would even do that. Like on his own, American people is just like, why did people vote for this dude? Like, what do you guys see in this dude? It's like he's rich, but it's like he doesn't have no human qualities.
Well, I don't know. I have no words. People voted for him, I think, because they were under the false impression that he's rich. It'll rub off on me. He's against the. I don't know. I have no words to say. I mean, there's no excuse for what he's doing and the path that he's leading us down. If he gets elected for another year, another 4 years, we are going the way of the Roman Republic, and we are just going to descend into chaos.
Yeah, and then World War III. Well, apparently World War III, but we don't want that to happen. I need to get that off
No,
my
we don't
mind.
want a World War III or the collapse of America. We don't want that. We don't want. If you look at history, you know, thankfully the American democracy is a little bit stronger than the Roman democracy at that point in time. The Roman Republic, I mean. But if you look at history, I mean, we're going through the exact same things that happened to them. One guy has too much power, and he kind of just dissolves everything we worked so hard to achieve. And that's how dictatorships work. And this is what's happening. We're turning into a dictatorship. We're way too far down that road. You know, we're not even like we're like miles and miles down that road. We're almost there. Just a
Right,
few steps, just a few miles or a few steps away, however you want to
right.
put it, from being a dictatorship. But that's a whole other matter entirely. I mean, the problem is that people are being. It's not just that it's a dictatorship. The dictatorship is being used as a weapon against black people and probably other minorities as well. But in this case, it's black people. Right now, the system is being weaponized. The government, everything is being weaponized against black people,
Yes. I,
and we have to stop it. We have to stop it. We have to do something. I don't know. I mean, on every level possible, on a personal level, on a community level, on an artistic level, whatever it is, we have to change things. So that's my spiel on,
yeah,
you know.
And speaking of the system, how has the system of racism changed in the last like century? Because we have changed a lot, and we messed up a lot of shit. Like as a country, like racism has really destroyed this country.
Yes, it absolutely has. And to that question, I would say there was a quote I heard. It was talking about hip hop. Somebody was talking about hip hop, but it applies to virtually anything. They were saying that hip hop is kind of stuck. The parts of it have moved forward, but the gears have moved forward a little bit, but the core of it is still stuck. And that's where I feel that we are with racism. Things have changed, yes, but we're a far cry from having a post-racist society or a society that is even healing on that journey because I mean, ultimately what happened is that okay, so segregation ended, at least supposed to. There's still so many places that are segregated in this country. I mean, but Jim Crow laws we got rid of, slavery we got rid of. I mean, people. Minnesota is the most diverse that it's ever been. Currently in 2020, like it wasn't always like this. There weren't people like me or you going around talking about this, doing what we do
Right.
in the 60s and 70s. I mean, it was just like white Lutheran country. So um so I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It's
it's
just it's.
that itself is a benefit, but this problem is still there,
Uh-huh.
and we haven't moved the whole thing. It's like the machine is moving but slowly. But the time has come for us to not move slowly. We have to get this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much I can say about that,
It's
but
very hard to think about. And it's just like with slavery, it's just like some white people, they don't even like to talk about race. It's like that's one thing my mom always told me is it's like they don't even like to talk about race. It's like they try to act
no.
like it doesn't exist. Like
Yeah,
it still exists.
exactly. Exactly. And that's what we need to do. Like in South Africa, they talked about what happened. They had national conversations where they sat down, had the real hard discussions that you and I are having right now with everyone,
Right.
the Afrikaners, the Boers, the white South Africans, all those people. They sat down with the black Africans, the coloreds, as they're called, the mixed race people
Right.
in South Africa. They sat down, they talked about it, and they moved. They kind of forged a different path. You
Right.
know, what we need. That's what we need. The president should be doing that. The president should be saying, we
Okay.
have a problem. We're gonna sit down and hash it out and come up with a solution. But he's not doing that. He's just saying shit like when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and
Starts and holding Bibles, like he's holier than thou.
he's not even a Christian. He doesn't even believe in the Bible. He doesn't even care about the Bible. He wanted to make himself look good because he was
That's
pissed off
right.
and mopey that everybody was. I don't want to make this about the president. I don't want to make this political. It's
No.
not political.
Nope.
It's
Yeah.
human. It's human, and that transcends anything, race, political creed, anything. It's human. What he did was,
Right.
what the officer did was wrong. And I've written poetry about it. I've written about it, and I've expressed my thoughts about it. And that's what. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Very frustrating though. Like shifting back to like Black Lives Matter. Um, like how flawed do you think All Lives Matter is to compare to Black Lives Matter? Because it's like a whole bunch of debates where it's just like, well, all lives matter. No, it's just
You know
it's
what
not
that is?
the
You know what
words.
that is? That's. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
That's fine.
that's just a distraction tactic, and it's also just ignorance, and it's also racist as hell. Because what they're saying when they say that, like what they're saying when they say that is they're not really saying that they care about all lives. What they're saying is stop complaining about how your lives matter more than everybody else's. Get the fuck
That's right.
out. That's what they're saying.
That's right.
And just like when people say I don't see color, that's one of the most racist things that you can say. Because what they're really saying is I don't give a shit about your race. I'm
Right.
still treat you like an asshole. And that's what this all lives matter thing is, you know? You don't
That's
have the if you're a person, if you're a white person, even if you're yourself, you are not a racist. You are still a part of that. You have inherited things from that system that you don't even know about, like redlining districts and sundown towns, which are things that I learned about, which basically were racist policies where African Americans couldn't move in, you know. And you look at like Edina and Egan, and you wonder how they got so. I don't know if Edina and Egan were like that, but if you look at places like that, you know, wonder how it all got to be white manicured
right.
suburban lawns. That's how, at least a part of it, you know.
Right.
So when people, when white people talk, when these kinds of people talk about all lives matter, you know, all lives matter, you know, it's like, yeah, all lives matter, including black lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I was watching a video on Facebook about this. Like, say you have, you know, you have Latino lives, Native American lives, Asian American lives, and then all the subdivisions of that, you know, Indian, Lao, Thai, Hmong, whatever,
Uh
you
huh.
know, you have that, right? You know, like, yes, they matter too, but they're not the ones that are being harassed. You know, if everybody matters, then black people shouldn't matter because they're the ones that, you know, it's like you can't say all lives matter and then poo-poo black people away. It's either it's either lives matter or they don't. There is no all. There is no
No.
black. There is no white. It's like either somebody's life matters or it doesn't.
Right. And I think that like the American people, they try to forget that the message about like what really matters in life, because like and, you know, like people take life for granted, and it's just like you never know if one will never be here tomorrow. And you know,
Yeah,
but with my races, it's like we have like a slim chance of living, and then a chance of a higher of like, you know, not non living. Like it's just this society is just so ass backwards to me. It's just like, you know, they rather see
I
people
totally
die
agree.
than live. It's just that really makes me sad, and it's just oh it's
Yeah,
just oh it just gives me this I view the world in a whole different way. Like ever since I got into politics and like supporting like the black community
yes,
and since
absolutely. Right on, Peter.
I'm sorry.
Right on.
Yes. Oh man. Let's see. How can society? How do you think society can self-reflect in dark times like such as these? Like, how can we self-reflect on after like this whole issue is just settled? Or I don't think it never can be settled. You know.
Well, there is no after that we can do this. We only got one chance to do this. Right now is the time to act, and we need to be doing what we're doing right now. You know, we need to be doing that. We need to be, yes, when we talk about the system, for years I always thought people, you know, were blowing out their behind their ass or whatever, like system is a fraud, you know, and all that stuff. It's like, but you're living in it. You're part of that system. And now I understand what the system is
Uh huh.
because it's all real. It's blown up in our faces, right?
Yep.
So we need to change the system. We need to make it so that you can't just come into the police force and be deranged enough to murder a black guy for no reason.
That's right.
we have to test these people that have been involved in all these killings. We have to, when the Holocaust was over, they held trials for all the people. We need to be doing that
Uh-huh.
right now. We need to be doing that right now. We
Right.
need to be getting the on a broad level. We need to be getting the world involved, the UN, the world organizations, and things like that, the NGOs and whatever. On a personal level, we need to be doing what you and I are doing right now.
Uh-huh.
If you know racists, if you know people who are racist, if they're reasonable enough to sit down and talk with you, and just talk with you, agree to talk with you, even if it's going to get rough, and knowing that they can leave at any time, then talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Have the discussion that we're having right now. Tell them your side of
Right.
the story. If you're a black man,
To race, it doesn't matter which race. It's like to race. It's like
exactly, yes. Yes, we need that. We need people to get together and say, hi, my name is Jose and I'm a Latino, and this is how I feel every time a white man calls me a beaner. Or we need to talk to we need to have a black guy come and say hi. My name is Pierre, and for instance, if you,
that's right.
hypothetically, my name is Pierre, and this is how I felt when George Floyd died. And
Mm-hmm.
you're 5 minutes, and they say hi. My name is Ryan, and this is what I think about what I used to think, what I think about your problem, and then you could say, yeah, what about this? And you could say, yeah, what about that? And then hopefully they go, oh, I didn't know anything about this. That's what needs to happen. We need to have everybody, not just one or two black people and a Mexican guy and whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the rest are white people. We need
It,
everybody coming in and saying,
it can be a
telling their
mixture of races.
stories, telling
Yeah.
their stories, and then healing.
Right.
That's one thing that we need. And also, this whole bullshit about I don't know what you're going through. I couldn't imagine what it was like to be like that. Come on now. Everybody has experienced some form
Oh,
of, of
trauma and
trauma, oppression, whatever it is. Some people have experienced in bits. Some people experience it every day.
right.
I can tell you that as a person of, even though I'm a person of color, I've never been through the situation of racism, like what happened to George Floyd. I don't fear for my life every day because of the color of my skin, or because I look like a terrorist to some people. But
Right.
I do, but I do feel, maybe that might change. I don't know, but I do understand. The more I thought about it, the more I think, and I understand as a person who is a vulnerable adult. I understand what it's like to be afraid of the police. I understand that you know
Right.
the, the police can see me, and on a good day I'm fine. I can handle myself in public. I can do all these things. I wasn't always like that. But on a bad day, you know anything could happen, and I don't trust that every police officer is going to be the one that says, hey, we got a call from someone. Are you doing all right? Thought that we
Right.
saw you stepping on the light rail tracks. Is everything all right? I can't expect that that's going to be the case 100% of the time.
Right.
Especially with that asshole living so far close to where I live in Oakdale. There's got to be more like him hiding under the woodwork. And what do they see me? And it's like, are they going to care that I have a disability that makes me be vulnerable at times? I'm spacey. It's like,
Right.
I don't know where I am. They're going to be like, the fuck you don't, like you got to know where you are.
Right. That's exactly how I feel. Like, as a black person and a disability, like I fear for my life because I've been approached by my own race. I'm not joking, Ishi. Like my own race, where if I was causing trouble, was I stealing anything? It's sad. Like even your own race, like accuse you of something you didn't do. Like it's just,
Yeah,
it's not a black issue. It's an American issue where
yes,
we all face this kind of injustice. Where it's like some races really feel
exactly.
bad.
Some people face it in bits. Some people face it in a whole lot more.
Yeah.
People have to realize that. People have to realize that they have that shared human connection. If you're a human being and you have experienced something,
Right.
you've experienced wrong, you've experienced pain, you've experienced loss, you can't say because the color of your skin that, oh, I don't know how it feels. You may not know the whole thing. You may not know the whole thing, right? But
Right.
you know something. People have to own their shit too. That's what
Exactly.
this is all about. Own everybody owning their shit and
Right.
saying that we can make it a better place.
Right. Well, now we're on a topic on the police. Like, do you even think we can get rid of police brutality? Is that even possible?
I think so. I absolutely think so. But what needs to happen for that first is we need to get rid of the police system we have, make a new one with with different rules, stricter hiring processes. We need to get those people tried and psychologically examined. The people who have done all these things. I'm not talking about this guy, this asshole. I'm not even going to say his name. He's not even worthy of me saying his name. You know, this asshole who did this is not just one person. There's a whole list of people, men and women alike,
Mm-hmm.
from different backgrounds, who have done this. So we need to get them tested, and we need to make sure that once we know what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing, we need to make sure that nobody else can ever do that again. And how we do that is, from my perspective, how we do that is we basically restructured the police system,
Uh-huh.
change things, change the laws, change the rules, change the culture of the police, change the attitudes through outreach programs, all that stuff. And is that easy? No, but it can be done.
Yep.
I
It
really
takes
think so.
time.
I mean, we got past the point. I mean, it took us, from the 60s till now. I mean, that's like 60. That's like 60 years, right? 60 years have gotten us to the point where people are no longer being assaulted for just sitting in a diner. We got that far. We got to the point where you and I can be talking, having this discussion, and we benefit.
Exactly.
Both of us benefit from the things that people in our past have done for us, white, black, and even Asian too.
Right.
You know, even Asian people have supported, are supporting, Black lives. But we got to the point where we are now. We can get to the point where we can get past this. It won't be easy, and there are many and many obstacles.
Yep.
Not the least of which is, I don't mean to bring this back to politics again, but the president. The president is the current president of the United States is doing a terrible job. He's making things worse. If we get him out of here, then we have a chance. But if we don't, I don't know what's going to happen. But the best case scenario is that we do get him out of here and things start to change, and on community and state levels and so on, and people do what they need to do.
Right. I just think, in all honesty, I think we just go with Biden. It's just like I heard a lot of things about him, and like he's harassed women, this and that. Like he's not. I feel like he's kind of like not like Trump in a sense. He's kind of like Bernie, but that's a
Yeah,
whole nother discussion that we can have. But
yeah,
um,
yeah,
it's just this whole it's just all a gamble. We just need to take a gamble. Just
yeah. We need to take that gamble. We need to go the better of two roads. The different road. We need to take that left turn that people are afraid of. We need to take that left turn. You know, and uh,
right.
and another thing too that I want to remind people of is that this country has put down Black people for so long. I want to show people that black bodies and are not the only thing that you have to offer. You're not just a black body put on there for the white people to do what they want with, right? You have a head. You have all of us, all black people have a credible head on their shoulders. You know, whether they, no matter who they are, they have a legacy that I want people to remind. I want to remind people that they have a legacy of power, and their black heads matter. You know, that people of color can have their voice heard.
That's right.
So what I've been doing is on my blog, I have been posting videos of different accomplishments and different talks that people of African descent have been talking about or doing, you know, showing people that like you guys matter, and more than that, you guys can do something. I'm not gonna say you guys, I mean black people can do something with what they have, you know. I mean,
Right.
so I'm starting a series. I think the latest post I'm gonna post is a topic of African history, how we can use it to change the
Yeah.
future. That's what it's called by a person of British Sudanese descent, Zainab Badawi. Zainab Badawi.
Yeah, but I think I heard that name before, but that
Might
was a
have
good
heard it.
post.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put that on my blog for all to see. You know, I've already put in a lecture by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie about feminism. So at the end of the day, I want people to see that
Right.
if they get called out and are called racist names, and they say that black lives don't matter and black lives are, you know, inferior, whatever they say, they can pull it out and say, they can pull something out and say, yeah, check out this shit, bitch. Yeah, you're telling me that black lives don't matter, but what about this? What about this intelligent woman, this intelligent feminist? You tell me she doesn't matter? You know, you can pull out the music and say, this is what people have done. So don't tell me that black lives don't matter, because don't tell me that black lives don't matter. Don't tell me that black lives don't matter because so that I can't do anything because I'm black, or that I'm poor because I'm black, or that I come from the ghetto because I'm black. You know,
Right.
because you can rise out of that.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not saying it's easy, but
Oh no, you're totally fine. Yeah, you're very passionate about social justice. Yeah, you really are. Yeah, you should really get into school politics like I do, like for real. Like
yeah, I would. It's just that I have a different calling as an actor and an artist. You know, I'm doing my part too.
understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause,
doing my part too.
you want
Do
to
you
tell
have
the
any more?
viewers? Oh, sorry. You want to tell the viewers your blog site to
Yes,
follow you on WordPress.
host a blog called Global Freak, and I know it may seem strange that I'm promoting my own shit, but I'm not doing this just because I want to promote my own shit. You know,
Right.
I'm doing this because I have stories to share, and I think people need to see it. And it's not about me, is what I'm trying to say. It's about the message I'm trying to get across.
That's
So
right.
my blog is called Global Freak, and there's all kinds of stuff on there. But lately, I've been focusing on poetry. Lately, it's been exclusively about racism, about what's been happening. But also, there's been things about COVID. There's things about my own identity on there. There's different things, different non-poetry things too. There's different music videos. If you check out my blog, globalfreak.wordpress.com, you can see these things that I'm talking about. And I sincerely hope that somebody feels inspired by it.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
And I want to share. Is it okay if I share one of the poems that I wrote?
Yeah, sure. No, go ahead.
Yeah. If you don't have any more questions, I mean, if you have any more
Oh,
questions, let me know.
actually, I have one more question for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. How can we set an example for the youth educating about racism? Because kids, they're just coming up in here. They don't know nothing about race. They have to learn about hate and racism, and this is like mostly like white kids. They are taught to be racist. That's very likely here in America.
Yeah. The simple answers to that, just two answers, the short answers. I'll give the short answers first. Don't be a dick.
Nishi,
And
but I can hear you. You can go ahead.
yeah, the short answers are, hold on one second. The short answers are don't be a dick to people, and then and the second answer, the short form is don't teach your kids to be a dick to other people. And really, it's simple but hard to master. So one
Right.
of those easy to learn but hard to master things. So what I mean by that is don't, the next time you see a black person, don't automatically assume that they're dangerous. Don't pull out a stereotype and say, oh, you must like fried chicken or whatever. You know, if you see a person of color, don't assume. Just approach them as a person like you would anybody else, and teach your kids to do the same. And if you see them acting out in a racist way, tell them however you feel you have to do it. If it's not, as long as it's not abusive, that's a whole nother thing. Just tell them, look, you can't do that. You can't beat up a kid because it's black. You can't you can't dress up in blackface. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Uh-huh.
That's wrong. And if they are the victim of it, tell them, look, I'm sorry this happened to you, but you are better than this. You can be better. You can be better than this. You can be better than this. They only did this because they were stupid and ignorant, and it's not on you, it's on them. Those are the kind of things you need to be telling your kids. And also get people out in the community, show them what it's like to go to the Hmong market, or to go to a black barber shop, or to go to show them what it's like to go to a black church, or
Uh-huh.
a or whatever. Show them different kinds of music, show them different kinds of movies, show them things, so that at the very least, when they grow up, they'll have a framework for understanding that the world is not just about them and their race. It's not about them and their blackness or them and their whiteness. That they can see that, because there are a lot of people on both sides, white, on both races that have never seen or don't know anybody who is black, or don't know anybody who is white. You know, if you're growing up in the hood, you're
Right.
probably going to stay in the hood. And if you stay in the hood, you're not going to see.
Some other family members from Chicago. Yeah, they actually moved out of the hood. My aunt, she still is in the hood. She
Yeah.
just recovered from COVID-19. Thank the Lord. But
Dude.
yeah, I go in that rough neighborhood, and it's no joke. Like seriously, it's
Yeah, and there's no white people around. There's no Asian people around.
nope. There's nope, just black people.
Yeah, and so that is also part of it. We need to get people exposed to each other, so that, especially if it's an earlier age, but even if it's not, we need to get people of all ages to come and see. Some people might not see it, but some people will, and then they'll pass it down to their children, and et cetera, et cetera. They'll say like, I was wrong. I didn't know this about this community. It was wrong for me to say these things. And
That's right.
I think that's one of the blessed things that you and I have experienced, is that we've been around a lot of diversity in our lives,
Yeah.
and of many different kinds. So we know, we understand a little bit. When you're around people of different races, you just begin to see them as people. Even if they have different experiences, you still see them as people. So
Yeah, because we didn't really want to live a normal life. It's just having autism has really changed my way of the world. Like
Hmm.
even when I was younger, like growing up watching anime, cartoons, I grew up with that mindset where it's just like I don't want to live that lifestyle. I want to live a different lifestyle. Like this is the life I chose. Like and this is like
Exactly.
who I will be until the day I die.
Yeah. Exactly. You know. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a loaded answer. I know
Oh
that was a
man,
loaded.
to each your oh man, thank you so much, Nishi. Did you want to leave? Do you want to recite your poem for
Yes.
the
I'll leave
audience?
off with a poem that I wrote. I'm gonna read this one. And for my readers, it was actually 38th in Chicago, not 34th, but I thought it was 34th for some reason.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But so just if anybody has issue with that, that's why it was a mistake. I can change it easily. Just give me a second. I can hear the words "I can't breathe" ringing in my ears, while the wild images of giants stepping on ants, demons trampling on the corpse of their prey, haunt me to the core. No words can contain this nightmare on Chicago and 34th. Someone pitch me from this nightmare. Take me out of this Matrix horror show. Someone please release me from this hallucination. But I digress. His words, not mine, not anyone else's, are what matters. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. For George Floyd, this is the ultimate night terror, one that he'll never wake up from. The nightmare on Chicago and 34th.
Oh, just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
that's
I really hope that this
oh,
hammers home the point that this is not okay. But thank you for having me on this
oh,
interview,
thank you so
Pierre.
much. Thank you for being on this podcast, Nishi, and oh, thank you for being my guest. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Black Lives Matter podcast. I think next week I'm gonna have one of my AmeriCorps members join me on the podcast. I was supposed to have him this week, but I'd say too far because this is a really serious subject, and I'm just trying to get out there, just get my voice heard. And I actually, this is for assignment, but I might actually post this on Facebook for people to watch. If you don't mind, Nishi, or
No, I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
yeah, because I need to. I just want to take my public speaking skills together, but no, I'm a good podcaster. Wow, this is really nice.
You're doing good. You're getting there. This is
Thank
your
you.
first time doing this, so you're.
Not easy.
No, it's
uh,
not. I'm so glad
well,
you're doing this. So I will catch you later then. Thank you so much for this interview.
and get some rest, buddy. And yeah, you have a good one. Stay safe, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye. Leave the meeting.